In South Africa, the black population has the majority while the whites have the minority. However, their government does not reflect this, as the whites have the majority and the blacks have the minority when it comes to politics. Meaning, when the governor wanted to enact a new law that would replace an expedition of 1975, the whites were very against it. And this law was for their land. And which brings us to our question today. Is South Africa's land seizure law a mistake? And I don't believe so. The law is not a mistake because we will see this through what is this law? How is it going to help the housing crisis that is happening? And what does this mean for the agriculture? As this law will help give back land to possibly blacks and take away from whites, which is the main reason why the white politicians are not in agreement with the law. What is the law? What is this bill? From the Fence Post, January 31st, 2025, the bill gives government power to take land and houses for a good reason if they are not being used to make money or are just empty currently, meaning that the government does not have to recompensate you if they decide to take the land that you are not using. From BBC News, January 23rd, 2025, the property not being used and there's no intention of either development or making money means that the government is able to take that land and use it for their own good, leading to the bill allowing the government to give land back, but also making sure that the land that's not being used will eventually be used for the good. However, most of the land is owned by the whites, meaning that they are not in agreement with this bill. To the housing. From Reuters, February 10th, 2025, 77,000 blacks in South Africa are held under an arrangement of metal roofs surrounded by the sides of mostly white-owned farmland, meaning that even though they have the majority, they still aren't living the best, as they have to create these huts made out of metal for them to survive while they look outside and they see these long grassy fields. The conversation from January 30th, 2025, taking away that land will effectively redistribute the land for equitably, meaning that taking away the land from the whites and then giving it to the blacks means the land will be distributed equally, giving them all a chance of equal playing field. As well as that means that they will be able to build a house that isn't made out of metal. And this bill won't have to compensate the whites, but even though that is a large part of it, it will help the housing crisis that is happening as they are stuffed in right now. You can look with their shacks. Now to what will this do for the agriculture? From the Daily Maverick, January 24th, 2025, it is clear that there is no immediate risk to land ownership, and legal lawyers and agriculture economists aren't worried about this as much as the politicians, showing that, if anything, this will add to their agriculture economy, as well as there is no threat right now to the land and to the farmers, because it will actually end up securing their land property. As well as from Agri-SA, February 7th, 2025, giving deeds to new farmers would help their finance and build a stable job for them. Meaning that when they do redistribute the land equitably, it would allow the newer farmers that would not have been able to have a chance before, give them deeds and give them a chance to actually start building up for themselves to a new house, be able to make that money and be a sustainable person as well, compared to just how they are living right now. They do go to work and they do have the farms, but the land is not themselves. Meaning that the white farmers would ultimately be losing some land, but it would end up helping many, many people. As we saw today, which brings us back to our question today. Is South Africa's land seizure law a mistake? And no, because it would end up, yes, it would take away land from the whites that do have the majority, but it would redistribute the land to everybody in an equitable way, meaning that those 7,000 blacks that are living in those metal huts would be able to finally live in a better house than they are now, as well as be able to make a living for themselves with their own land. Redistributing the land is the main goal with this, and is majorly why the whites are mad, because they have most of the land currently.